Hi, good morning and welcome to meditation. I would like to read in 2 Timothy chapter 2 verse 13. If we are faithless, he remains faithful, for he cannot dishonor himself. He remains faithful. And here we find the word faithful, that means in Greek loyal, faithful, righteous, a person who show themselves loyal in business transactions. It's a person who people who show themselves loyal in carrying out orders and performing official duties. It's a trustworthy person, and that's what God is. God is faithful. And Paul is saying to Timothy from his prison that even when we are not faithful, God remains faithful because he cannot disown himself. He's a faithful God. He's faithful towards his own word. He cannot disown himself. But let's read a few verses before this verse in 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 8. Remember Jesus Christ, raised from the dead, descendant from David. This is my gospel, for which I am suffering, even to the point of being chained like a criminal. He was chained like a criminal, but he's saying, this is the gospel I'm preaching, and the gospel is not in prison. And God is faithful, even when I am in prison. This is an amazing testimony, isn't it, of this man who was faithful to God's calling. God called him to preach the gospel to the Gentiles, and he did. And even from his prison, he said, my gospel, the gospel of Jesus Christ that I was given to preach, is not in chains. Therefore, I endure everything for the sake of the elect, that they too may obtain the salvation that is in Jesus Christ with eternal glory. Here's a trustworthy saying: if we died with him, we also live with him. If we endure, we will also reign with him. And then it says, if we are faithless, he remains faithful. God does not change. Even when our circumstances are not positive, are not okay, seen from human eyes, even then we can know that God is faithful, because he does not change. When he promised, he's going to do it. It doesn't mean that you're going to live an amazing life here without persecution, without pain. There is pain in this world, isn't it? There's pain, there's suffering, but we can know that God is faithful, and he's there for us to help us to go through these difficulties, these difficult times that sometimes we have to go through. Paul is in prison, not because he was a criminal, though he's saying he was chained as a criminal, but he was in prison because he was preaching the gospel of our Lord Jesus Christ. He was actually doing what God called him for. Before, he was a terrorist. He was a dangerous person. You didn't want to, if you were a Christian, you didn't want to be a neighbor, live near his house. You didn't want to be his neighbor. You could not be his friend because he didn't like, he hated Christians. He persecuted them, he killed them, he put them into prison. But now he himself is in prison because of the same gospel. And he's saying, God is faithful. He will remain faithful forever. God bless you.